welcome back. Bruce Porter joins us now for this week's Dollars and Cents. Thanks for coming in. Nice
Good to be here.
You. All right. We have a topic today, not so much a letter, correct?
That's right.
All right. There are 5 risks potentially more devastating than risks to your principal. So when you say this, what do you mean exactly? The principal that you invest? The principal
everybody's always concerned about losing money.
Okay, of course.
But that can take on a lot of different forms. You can lose money over a long period of time if you don't properly plan your retirement or plan your expenses, you know, things like that. And we've been discussing that kind of this summer. You've got to have a plan for whatever you do. Well, the first thing is inflation. You know, inflation is that hidden cost that eats away from our purchasing power of our money over our lifetime.
Yes, it
does.
It
doesn't just affect us when we retire. It's that milk and bread chart. 5 years from now, it's going to be more expensive than it is today. So when you consider that, there's a lot of argument for what inflation is. 4% since, 1950, that might be, in my opinion, a little bit strong, but give or take, inflation is there, and that eats away at your dollars over a long period of time.
Well, and if you look at 4%, even if it was 4%, you'd be lucky to earn.
Oh, absolutely.
On some investments, 4% or even 8%, and there goes about 50% of your.
That's exactly
your
right.
earnings,
Which brings up the next one, interest. So now everybody's always worried about interest. What's the interest that I'm going to gain? All right, 6% interest, 4% inflation. Now you're at 2.
Do the math.
And before you know it, you're going to be down low, right?
Yeah, you're going to go nowhere fast, I guess is what you're saying.
If you calculate a little bit of tax liability in on that interest earnings, which we all get those 1099s, you're probably breaking even or maybe going in the hole with a lower yielding type investment. So again, we have to think about that. Lack of diversification. You know, don't keep all your eggs in one basket. That applies to both ends of the segment of the economy. So the economy is in turmoil. Well, don't put everything in cash.
Right.
Well, the cash is in turmoil. Well, don't put everything the other direction. Stay diversified, have different asset classes, things that offset each other while the economy is doing its thing. None of us control what's going on worldwide or even in the United States. So now we just have to stay diversified. Keep a portfolio that's going to be well-rounded. Keep plenty of cash on hand, but also keep some long-term money, medium-range money, and short-term money. We've talked about that with our jars.
And even if you have, I would guess you would recommend that people, even if they have a stock that they have their heart set on or a fund, the dollar cost averaging, where you put a little in this week, next week, this month, next month, whatever, it averages out so much better than putting it all in today.
Absolutely.
You don't know what's going to happen.
You can do that. You can dollar cost average your investments over a period of time out of cash into an investment or out of an investment back into cash to secure the growth. There's all kinds of ways to look at that. People are living longer, and we got to understand the effect that that's going to have on us. Nowadays, when we talk about retirement planning, we talk about creating sustainable income for 20 to 30 years. Now, wow. So it took me 30 years to grow up, took me 30 years to work, and now I've got 30 years to retire. So now I don't want to work.
Right.
I kind of want to revert back to my childhood days, and I want to play a lot.
Yeah.
So I've got to be able to fund those habits of wanting to play and travel and do all that.
And we're not saying living longer is a bad thing. It's just that it's more to plan for because you have longer to, deal with yourself and the people around you.
Absolutely.
You gotta eat.
And I think
the
last one is, I think too many people put too much emphasis on Social Security and the amount of that Social Security dictating what their retirement lifestyle is going to be. I think we need to all kind of wake up and decide that maybe the Social Security check that we're going to get is about a third of what we need. Now the other 2/3 of our retirement is going to have to come from us.
Have you thought about that?
So we have to plan in order to get there. So I think that, what we do, we focus on understanding how can we combat inflation, how can we control our tax liabilities, and a lot of that applies to retirees. If you're retired and you don't need income, don't take it.
Yeah.
If you have an emergency, pull some out. If you don't and you can live on less, then sustain your money longer because you will need it as you get older.
Very good. Bruce Porter,